I thought I had it all. 8 years of marriage, two amazing daughters, and a home we built together. But what happens when the woman you love suggests living apart, chasing a dream that doesn't include you? How do you pick up the pieces when her secrets unravel, pointing to her boss and a fancy apartment across town? Buckle up. This is the story of how my world turned upside down. Welcome to Addy Story, where we share real-life stories that touch the heart and inspire the soul. Subscribe now to join our community, relax, and dive into the stories we have for you. Enjoy. My wife believed distance could save us. Then her sister drew near, and her perfect plan shattered before our eyes. At 38, I find myself caught in an utterly wild situation that's unfolded in my life lately. Nearly 8 years with my wife, Emily, and every moment is a whirlwind of love and challenges. 10 years together, two incredible daughters, ages 9 and 7. I truly believed everything was in place. We may have left the honeymoon phase behind, but after 8 years and 2 kids, who hasn't? We had our usual marriage moments, petty arguments over my work boots in the living room or her Amazon splurges. Nothing serious, just the little things that kept us on edge. From humble beginnings in construction, I climbed the ranks, transforming hard work into a rewarding career. Emily thrives in her corporate job, a place she genuinely enjoys. 3 years in our new home, the kids thrive in school, and last year, we welcomed a dog into our lives. We're chasing that typical American dream, you feel me? In hindsight, there were signs I should have noticed. Emily had changed, radiating joy, pouring herself into her work with newfound passion. She vented about her job, the pointless meetings, the annoying coworkers, just like everyone else. But lately, she spoke of work with a spark of thrill. And then came Michael, her boss. Initially, he was merely a name that flickered through her tales. Michael's wit lit up the meeting, or his idea became the lifeline for the project. Everyday moments, yet they linger in the heart. But then it began to change. She started dropping his name in casual remarks, subtle at first, but now they blaze like neon signs in her memory. Remember when we discussed management styles? She said, "You have to hear Michael's take on leadership. It's truly inspiring." When I joked about corporate buzzwords, she shot back. "Michael says those words really matter for team cohesion." It was clear that wasn't her true voice. I recall jokingly saying, "Wow, sounds like Michael's your work husband, just teasing." She paused, laughter trembling on her lips, then said, "Oh, stop. He's just an incredible mentor." Strange, isn't it? I pushed it aside. On the couch, lost in a YouTube video about fixing the garage door, Emily suddenly appeared. Her gaze held a secret, a tension built over time, ready to burst forth at last. "Is everything all right? Are the kids okay? Your mom and dad?" I asked, my mind wandering, dismissing it as just another random update. Yeah, everyone's fine," she said, her weight shifting, unable to find comfort in that moment. "I need to share something important with you." It seized me completely. I stopped the video, my gaze fixed on her. "Hey, what's going on?" She breathed out, a weight lifting from her chest. "Maybe we should consider living apart together. What is life? Still married, yet worlds apart, navigating shared custody. It's a reality for many." I stared at her, heart racing, hoping for a laugh or a hint that it was all a joke. She never did. I had to stop the video, heart racing. convinced I was slipping into a strange hallucination from the cleaning chemicals I'd used earlier. That morning, all appeared well. Breakfast shared, kids prepped for school, a quick kiss goodbye. Just another day in our rhythm. Silence reigns, devoid of conflict or unease. This hit me like a bolt from the blue. I pressed her for clarity on this living apart together concept and its origins in her mind. She's been spending a lot of time with Sarah from yoga. Sarah, a self-proclaimed expert on modern relationships, has faced the sting of divorce 4 times. Absolutely, that's correct. Yet she believes this grants her the right to dispense marriage wisdom. Wouldn't that just make her a master at failing in marriage? I fought to keep my composure. Honestly, I feel a deep sense of pride in that moment. I inhaled sharply, set my phone aside, and attempted to engage in a real adult conversation about it. I asked her what triggered this, if I had messed up, if there were hidden issues, striving to be the understanding husband who talks things out. Her response was absolutely insane. She sat there, as if discussing something trivial, like switching our internet provider. She claimed she needed space and time to grow, tossing around buzzwords that felt ripped from a self-help book Sarah likely handed her. She raved about living apart together relationships as the future of marriage, insisting that if it works in Sweden, it must surely thrive in suburban Colorado. What hit me the hardest? She dared to suggest we could return to living together if it fails, as if this were merely a test run of a show we could cancel, not our real marriage and family. As she speaks, my mind drifts to our children. How do you tell a 9-year-old that mommy and daddy are still a team, but living apart is what they need now? Just make it clear. Sleep eluded me that night. My mind raced, relentless and loud. Emily had always dismissed thoughts like these. Whenever the topic of an open marriage surfaced, often in jest, she swiftly dismissed it, declaring it overwhelming and not her style. She once scoffed at couples embracing those New Age arrangements. What shifted? Had I failed to provide her desires? Did I overlook something crucial? I replayed our last months. Searching for the moment, everything changed. She seemed happier, lighter, and more alive than ever. It began the moment she grew close to Sarah. Since then, I felt as if I was sharing my life with a stranger named Emily. After Emily dropped the living apart together bomb, I reacted as any reasonable person would. I scoured the internet for hours, lost in a whirlwind of research on living apart together relationships, all while devouring the kids' leftover Halloween candy in a haze of stress. What I discovered was nothing short of captivating. Living apart together? It's not as wild as it sounds. Some people truly find a way to make it happen. Typically, it's older couples with grown children, or those working in distant cities, not families with young children in elementary school residing in the same neighborhood. Red flag 427, isn't that something? I chose to go with it. Ever heard the one about giving someone enough rope? Absolutely, that crossed my mind too. The next morning, I faced Emily, ready to dive into the reality of it all. My laptop was open, Google ready, poised for notes as if I were in a high-stakes meeting. Her expression shifted the moment I mentioned formal custody arrangements. Invaluable. She probably imagined it would be a laid-back, you go your way, I go mine kind of deal. We must establish a custody schedule, I said, urgency lacing my words. I'm considering a week on, week off, or perhaps a 2-2-3 schedule. We must establish firm guidelines for holidays and birthdays. Her shocked expression was everything. We need to bring in lawyers to make this official. No room for confusion later. Rachel, her attorneys, let's navigate this together, step by step. That's when I revealed the shocking truth. My cousin Rachel is a family lawyer. You should have seen the shock on Emily's face when I revealed that Rachel had offered to represent me for free if I ever needed it. A fleeting exchange at last year's Christmas gathering. Appreciate it, tipsy Rachel. Emily launched into a story about a lawyer she knows through Sarah. He was the one who navigated all of Sarah's divorces. Indeed, all four. What a shocker. This is the moment that changes everything. I began probing deeply into her plan. Who's footing the bill for the second apartment? What's our plan for the bills? What will happen with the kids' school transportation? Who has the dog on which days? What steps do we take in a medical crisis? What happens at parent-teacher conferences? Who bears the weight of extracurriculars? With every question, her discomfort deepened, a stark contrast to Sarah's promises of ease. The highlight? At 3 a.m., I unearthed a spreadsheet, revealing the stark truth of our costs. 2 households instead of 1. Rent, utilities, groceries, insurance, everything weighs heavy. I added a column for dating expenses because if we're apart, we might as well face the truth, right? The realization struck her hard. This was no whimsical journey of independence like the one Sarah had shown her in those films. This was it. Life, raw and unfiltered, with weighty responsibilities and heavy consequences looming ahead. Then I posed the question that could change everything. Which neighborhood is calling you to make it your new home? Her pause before responding spoke volumes. That triggered a storm of alarms in my mind. She took a deep breath, her mind racing, and whispered that she had been eyeing the Pine Ridge apartments. Pine Ridge looms across town, a lavish complex far beyond our budget, a stark reminder of our financial limits. I cut the conversation short, promising we'd pick up the planning later. I may not be the brightest, but something was definitely wrong. What makes that place so special? It's a half hour from the kids' school, lacks a playground, and mostly offers one-bedroom units. Not the best setup for hosting 2 kids frequently. I acted like any anxious husband would. I began to dig. One of my work buddies, Chris, has a sister at Pine Ridge's leasing office. Small world, isn't it? I fired off a text, desperate for any intel he could provide. Yeah, I get it. That's definitely unsettling. Desperation calls for action, doesn't it? Can you believe who calls Pine Ridge home? A figure from Emily's office, the new regional manager she's repeatedly brought up in recent months. Mr. M is fiercely devoted to corporate synergy. Perhaps jealousy stirred within her, longing to experience life in that neighborhood as he did. But this is what caught me off guard. When I mentioned arranging the kids' rooms in her new place, Emily's reaction was unsettling. She began to suggest that perhaps we should hold off until I'm settled, fearing the girls might be confused at first. Then she revealed the truth. Perhaps they should remain with you until the chaos settles. Sure, because what screams great mom more than choosing to be away from your kids to stay in a one-bedroom near your so-called boss? I held back from confronting her about Michael at first. I needed to collect more details first. I contacted her sister, Jessica. Jessica and I have always clicked, perhaps a bit too perfectly, if I'm being truthful. Since her divorce last year, she's embraced a newfound flirtation, subtle yet striking. She once said to me, bluntly, That if my sister hadn't claimed you first. I brushed it aside, never fueling the fire, because of marriage. Jessica was stunned by the living apart together concept. But soon, the pieces began to fall into place. Emily had been bombarding her with hypothetical questions, one after another. How long must you linger before stepping into the world of dating after a separation? Is dating a coworker strange? How do you break the news to the kids about someone new in your life? She revealed that Emily had been probing into Michael's schedule, his floor, and if he was seeing anyone. Almost everything, save for his blood type and social security number. She believed she was being discreet. Nausea surged within me. After all this time, she approaches me with a trendy term, as if it's some kind of revelation. Our marriage feels like an experiment from a self-help book she stumbled upon. I lingered in the garage all night, lost in the act of fixing what was never broken. I was pummeling the punching bag, fists aching, jaw tight, teeth on the brink of shattering. Each time I recalled her nonchalant demeanor, the way she laid it all out, fury ignited within me. Later, I discovered that while I struggled to hold myself together, Emily was inside, on the phone with Sarah for 2 hours, likely gathering expert tips on how to dismantle a marriage in record time. I understood it was over, trust irreparably broken, yet I had to navigate this on my own terms. The next morning, I began my search for apartments, drawn to locations near Jessica's place, far from Pine Ridge. I mentioned it to Emily, nonchalantly, as I scrolled through apartment listings on my phone. Emily's gaze remained fixed on her coffee, a faint question lingering in the air. Oh, okay, where? I mentioned a few spots close to Jessica's neighborhood, my voice steady, and it caught her interest. She jolted upright. Hold on, what? That's the wrong way from Pine Ridge. Yeah, I replied, the warmth of the coffee coursing through me. Her brow furrowed. It's unjust to the children. Being so far apart will weigh heavily on them. I placed my cup down, my gaze locked onto her. Now, we're considering what's truly fair for the kids. Her eyes widened, surprise flickering as I stood my ground. This woman's audacity is unbelievable. She opened her mouth, hesitated, then released a frustrated sigh. That's not what I meant. You're just trying to be difficult. I reclined in my chair, a brief laugh escaping my lips as I shook my head in disbelief. Oh no, Emily. This is so thrilling. Her gaze sharpened. What does that even mean? I ignored her, my silence cutting deeper than words as I turned and left. Just when I thought my anger had peaked, Emily shattered that limit. That night, I caught her voice on the line. I never meant to listen in. I walked by the bedroom and caught her speaking too casually about something that ignited my fury. She said it would be good for us. A moment to breathe, to find myself again, you know. I believe David will eventually understand. This way is simply easier. Fewer conflicts, more peace. He could find himself drawn to it, perhaps even loving it. What did you say? Choosing it? Her laughter pierced the silence. Genuinely laughed. This wasn't just a quirky lifestyle change. It shattered our family dynamic completely. I stood frozen, fists tight, grappling with the reality that she believed I would simply submit. Like a naive fool she could push into a scenario that served only her interests. Then I chose to unleash my own surprise, and it detonated far beyond my wildest dreams. In the kitchen, we sat, unraveling the threads of our separate lives. Emily wore her smugness like a badge, claiming our maturity was unmatched. That's when I dropped the bomb about the California trip. Emily's fixation on California has consumed her. an all-encompassing obsession that borders on the unhealthy. She scrolls through California vacation accounts on Instagram, her heart racing with each post, and curates a Pinterest board filled with dreamy beach escapes, lost in the allure. Yet we never went. Life always intervened. They were just kids, too young to understand. Work held me captive, and money slipped through my fingers. It's a familiar struggle, isn't it? As I sip my coffee, I casually drop, "I need your input on something." The air thickens with unspoken tension. Is it worth pursuing a refund for the California tickets? Or simply alter the names? "Hey, everyone." Her head shot up, a jolt that could have caused whiplash. "Which tickets from California?" she asked, her voice trembling beneath a facade of nonchalance. In that moment, I revealed the surprise vacation I had planned for our anniversary. 7 days at a beachfront hotel, everything included. I even got her parents to take care of the kids. They remain unaware of the truth behind their separate lives. A different nightmare looms, ready to strike. Her expression was unforgettable. First, a rush of thrill, then a wave of confusion, followed by a chaotic blend of hope and dread, like a child learning about a trip to Disney World while realizing they're still grounded. "You organized a trip to California for us?" Her voice barely broke the silence. "I envisioned it for us, back when we were still together," I said. "If you're choosing to live apart together, maybe you'd prefer to bring someone else along. The tickets are bought, no turning back. It would be tragic to let them go to waste." She backpedaled with such urgency, it felt like she might just break into a moonwalk. "Perhaps we should hold off on living apart together," she whispered. "This trip could be our chance to find each other again." That's when I unleashed the second bomb. I called the travel agent. "Your ticket is now transferable. Take anyone you wish." Perhaps Michael would relish a getaway to the beach. Her face went pale. Her face drained of color. She stuttered, insisting Michael was merely a coworker, bewildered by my suggestion. I shrugged and said, "Since you're moving into his building, I thought you two were close." Then I stood up for more coffee, pretending I hadn't just obliterated our entire conversation. She trailed me in the kitchen, insisting I was mistaken, that Pine Ridge was merely a pleasant place, that Michael's presence there was purely coincidental. Then she struck me with this: "How can you possibly know Michael lives there? Have you been watching me?" I stared at her, the tension thick. "Funny how you're worried about how I know where Michael lives, but not about your plan to move in next door without a word to me." Her silence screamed. Eyes glistening, she teetered on the edge of despair before she erupted and fled. I stood frozen, overwhelmed by a wave of disgust. After the California tickets incident, I hoped Emily would finally reveal the truth. Foolish of me, isn't it? She plunged into damage control, not to mend, but to twist the narrative, painting herself as the victim in a desperate bid for sympathy. She sprinted to Sarah, as if it were the only choice she had. In a tense 3-hour call, I heard Emily's sobs echo through the walls, accusing me of emotional manipulation for revealing her plan to leave her children behind and move closer to her boss. Their mental acrobatics could win gold, no doubt. But this is where it truly captivates. Do you recall my colleague Chris? His sister is at Pine Ridge. It seems Michael has his own secrets lurking in the shadows. Whispers swirl through the office, fueled by the receptionist's flair for theatrics. Michael can't help but boast to his colleagues about the alluring mom from accounting who's clearly captivated by him. Guess who's crunching numbers in the shadows? The most shocking twist? Michael is in a serious relationship, ring shopping serious, and she remains blissfully unaware of everything happening behind the scenes. I learned this from Chris's sister, who handled their rental renewal last month. They're at Pine Ridge, and here I am, holding this explosive secret, torn between action and silence. A part of me aches to unleash chaos, to expose Michael's secrets, to alert HR, to reveal it all. Yet the rational voice within me, echoing Cousin Rachel the lawyer, urges me to gather proof and maintain my composure. My lawyer, Rachel, delivered, proving her strength when it mattered most. With deft precision, she maneuvered through the legal maze, securing a copy of Emily's rental application for Pine Ridge. Emily marked herself as single on the application, unbound, unclaimed, alone. She chose Michael as her emergency contact, not her husband or the father of her child. Emily continues her dangerous dance, caught between two worlds. One moment, she's committed to our marriage, and the next, she's reaching out to Michael. I caught the notifications flashing on her iPad. She must change her password from our anniversary date. It's a chaotic dance, a struggle without rhythm. And then there's Jessica. Since the California tickets incident, she's been reaching out more, wanting to know how I'm doing. Purely supportive, nothing more. But Emily caught a glimpse of her text on my phone while I cooked. Hope you're hanging in there. Let me know if you need to talk. And lost it. The exchange unfolded like this. Emily, why is my sister reaching out to you? Me, because she truly values her family, unlike others. Emily has always been drawn to you. I can see the thrill in your eyes. It's fascinating how your concern for your sister texting me overshadows the risk of Michael's girlfriend discovering your apartment plans. Emily, Michael is not part of this. Which girlfriend are you talking about? She shattered, spiraling into chaos. She paced the kitchen, fingers tangled in her hair, whispering that this was never meant to be. She crumpled, sliding down the kitchen cabinet to the floor, and sobbed uncontrollably. You're choosing Jessica over me, aren't you? She gasped through her tears. That's why you're going to be close to her. This was all your doing, wasn't it? I stood frozen, haunted by the memory of how perfect it once was, and how she shattered it all. Have you ever thought about this? I finally spoke, my back pressed against the counter. You're in tears over the thought of me choosing your sister, which will never happen, while you were secretly plotting to move into your married boss's place. This is a mind-bending challenge of epic proportions. Her gaze met mine, tears streaking her cheeks like dark rivers. It wasn't, not at all. I felt trapped. Life slipped through my fingers, and Michael, he ignited something in me. I interrupted her, halting the moment. If you dare to speak of how your taken boss made you feel special while I sacrificed for our family and raised our kids, I might just snap. A new wave of tears erupted. I never wanted to cause you pain, she breathed, her voice trembling. Or the girls. Oh no, the girls. What have I done? That's the crux of it, Emily, I said. Your actions cut deep. You may not have intended to wound us, but each decision, the suggestion to live apart, the apartment near Michael, naming him your emergency contact, declaring yourself single, spoke volumes. Those were deliberate choices, decisions forged in the shadows, destined to wound those you love. She sat there, tears streaming down her face, and instead of solace, I felt a deeper ache inside. It shattered my heart. heartbroken for our children, mourning what we once shared, devastated that she sacrificed it all for an unattainable dream. Then she said something that made me burst into laughter. But Sarah insisted this was just how things were, she claimed. Every marriage faces this. Living apart might just be the key to saving us. Sarah? I spoke. Are you talking about the woman who's had 4 divorces? Is that Sarah? Absolutely, that's a solid foundation for marital wisdom. I'm so stupid, she whispered, her voice trembling with despair. No, you're not stupid, I breathed out, heavy with the weight of truth. You're just selfish. It's not the same. She gazed up at me, her eyes brimming with tears. Is there a way to make this right? Kindly. I'll sacrifice it all. I'll leave my job, sever ties with Sarah, seek counseling, anything you need. Just don't walk away for her. In that moment, it hit me. She still didn't understand. She remained convinced this was about me and Jessica, or her and Michael, or some outside influence. She failed to realize that the moment she chose to craft a secret life, she shattered something essential in our marriage, leaving me and our kids in the dark. I'm staying at Jessica's tonight, I said, clutching my keys tightly. I need to step away, not for the chaos, but to find clarity on how we'll bring this to a close. Seeing you like this cuts deep. I walked away, leaving her alone on the cold kitchen floor. I heard her sobs as I stepped away, but I refused to turn around. I climbed into my truck and hit the road, no destination in mind. I spent 3 intense days in Jessica's spare room, just so there's no confusion. I craved a moment to breathe, to find clarity and decide what came next. Cousin Rachel, the lawyer, insisted we align everything before the crucial family meeting. We chose to unveil all truths, no matter the cost. We chose Emily's parents' house, believing it would be the safest ground. They had to understand the truth behind the impending upheaval in their grandkids' lives. Emily fought to escape, claiming her emotions were too overwhelming to bear. I warned her, join me willingly, or I'd let Rachel initiate the divorce without her say. She arrived. Entering felt like a dream. Her mom brewed coffee and laid out the familiar cookies for family gatherings, as if it were just another Sunday, not the day their daughter's marriage shattered. Rachel had everything in hand. The Pine Ridge application shows Emily as single. I have screenshots of her text conversations with Michael taken from her iPad. Bank statements revealed her secret. Money shifting to another account, all of it laid bare. She spread it across the dining room table, a haunting map of betrayal. Emily's mom broke down in tears at the sight of the rental application. Her dad sat in silence, his presence fading as Rachel poured out her heart. All that pierced the silence were Emily's quiet sniffles and her mother's stifled cries. Next came the custody plan. In that moment, Emily found her voice. I want joint custody, she whispered, her eyes filled with unspoken pain. Her dad laughed, a harsh, bitter sound that pierced the silence, something I'd never heard from him before. Joint custody, he declared, after you attempted to settle into a 1-bedroom apartment and named your boss as your emergency contact, not their father. How amusing, darling. Emily's tears flowed once more. Sarah admitted, I wasn't thinking straight. If you mention Sarah one more time, her mom shouted, voice trembling with fury. Her voice had always been a whisper, until now. Rachel entered, all business, with the documented evidence of attempted abandonment and the clear choice of a potential affair over childcare. She would push for primary custody with David, while I would have supervised visitation with Emily until she finished counseling and proved her stability. Emily's face crumpled at the mention of supervised visitation, a moment that struck deep, as if her fantasy shattered under the weight of harsh truth. He faced me, eyes burning with unspoken words. "Do the girls understand?" "Not now," I replied. "I needed to tackle this part first. Today, they're with my parents." Next, we faced the challenge of logistics. Rachel had crafted a separation agreement that was undeniably generous. "I'll hold on to the house. The mortgage is mine to bear." Emily would stay with her parents for a while, a typical custody plan after she finishes counseling. I included a rule: no overnight guests of the opposite sex during visitation. Absolutely. That was directed at Michael. Emily fought to voice her thoughts, but her parents silenced her. Her dad's words cut deep. "You forfeited your right to negotiate the moment you chose to leave your children for a man who's already moving on. Seeing your in-laws choose you over their own daughter is a hollow victory, steeped in sorrow." The meeting concluded as Emily signed, tears streaming down her face. Her mom embraced me, her voice trembling as she whispered, "I'm so sorry." Her dad seemed utterly broken. The house was silent when I returned that night, void of life. The girls remained at my parents', and an unsettling silence enveloped the space. A note from Emily lay on the counter, filled with apologies, pleading for another chance, promising to do anything to make it right. In that moment, I was numb. A void consumed me. 2 months have passed. The divorce is final. Emily returned to her parents' home, the aftermath of the Michael disaster still echoing painfully in her mind. Just a moment, and it will all unfold. The girls are adapting remarkably well. Kids have a remarkable ability to sense who truly prioritizes them. Here's the story of Michael. Do you recall his girlfriend? Her fury ignited when she discovered the truth about Emily. She arrived at Emily's workplace, clutching printouts of every text they had exchanged. Looks like I wasn't alone in my iPad obsession. The entire office witnessed Emily's struggle to justify her decision to move into their apartment complex, all while naming Michael as her emergency contact. HR stepped in. Emily and Michael lost their jobs. Karma is a stunning force, isn't it? Sarah faced her reckoning. I discovered I wasn't the only husband weary of her contemporary relationship guidance. 3 couples from Emily's yoga class stepped forward, revealing how she had inspired their wives to explore living apart together or open marriages. Her ex-husbands reveled in that moment. She's gone to California, isn't it ironic, to discover her true self, or something like that. In California, something unexpected unfolded with those tickets. Do you recall Emily's deep concern for me and Jessica? She had reason to worry, just misjudged when it would all unfold. Once the dust of the divorce cleared, Jessica and I found ourselves drawn to each other more than ever. Initially, it was merely family matters with the girls. Her presence was a lifeline, a comfort that eased the storm of change. First, coffee to unravel Emily's latest drama, then dinner to unleash our dating nightmares. You're aware of the way it unfolds. After tucking the girls in, Jessica and I sat on the back porch, the air thick with anticipation as we discussed those California tickets. She laughed, recalling how Emily always suspected something was brewing between us back then. We laughed, but then the universe twisted the knife with its cruel joke. Yes, we're together now. It was unexpected, a twist of fate. We know it's chaotic. Watching Emily attempt to destroy our family for a man who didn't even want her was a wake-up call. It felt liberating to recognize my feelings for someone who truly loved my kids and grasped the essence of family. When Emily discovered the truth, it was chaos. She called her parents, her voice a raw scream of betrayal. They've just disconnected. They recalled how she nearly left her children behind for him. She attempted to weaponize it in court, aiming to alter the custody arrangement. Rachel cut through the tension, highlighting that dating your ex's sister pales in comparison to the audacity of moving in with your married boss while claiming to be single. The custody arrangement is thriving. I have primary custody. Emily only gets supervised visits due to the evidence of her attempts to abandon the kids for her married boss. She's in therapy now, real therapy, not Sarah's wine-fueled chats. Honestly, that's no longer my burden to bear. The girls are truly flourishing. It seems having their aunt step into the role of almost stepmom isn't as strange for them as we feared. They're thrilled to have Aunt Jessica around more. They have someone who truly stands by them, supports their studies, attends their events, and has never hinted at leaving for self-discovery. Did you hear about the college fund Emily attempted to use for her Pine Ridge deposit? Her parents moved it to an account for the girls' true college dreams. They hardly talk to her, yet every Sunday they gather for dinner with me, Jessica, and the kids. They needed a moment to embrace the change, but their joy for their grandkids' stability shines through. Life can be unexpectedly poignant. A year ago, my heart shattered when Emily proposed this living apart together madness. I've got my kids, a thriving job, and a partner who's always been there, witnessing my journey as a devoted dad and husband. Meanwhile, her sister, who never appreciated it, still attempts to weave her way back into our lives. Last week, her voicemail trembled with tears, revealing her transformation and the weight of her loss. I sent it to Rachel for the custody file and then whisked Jessica and the girls out for ice cream. She fretted over me and Jessica, yet became the architect of our fate. Perfection in every bite. Sometimes, the trash just disappears, you know. Thanks for watching this story on Addy Story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new tale. Stay tuned for more. And until next time, take care and keep living your own amazing stories.